Hey guys, it's Will. In this video, we're going to be going over the top 3 AI stocks that I'm watching towards the end of this week. The number one stock that we're going to be watching very closely, as it's really helping build most of the infrastructure for AI and allowing us to power AI models, things like ChatGPT and what have you, is AMD. So AMD stock is one of the companies that I've been following for many years, and they have had their runs. They've seen highs of into the hundreds of dollars. We could see them if we go back really here. They saw a high of about $227, and of course there's this negative connotation that I've been hearing lately that says AMD is the advanced money destroyer. Like everything that all the money you put into AMD is not a good investment. That's what you hear. And look, that would be right if you're looking at it basically any investments from March until today. And if you guys know, we've been quite bullish on this company, but it hasn't seen the explosive growth that we've anticipated. However, with AMD stock, there's some things to consider. The first is that they are partnered with Starlink. When we think about the most innovative companies in the world, the companies that are providing tremendous value, you have to include Starlink as one of those companies. As someone that literally used to live in a place that had almost no internet, it was really hard to get internet. After getting Starlink and realizing that Starlink could provide very high-speed internet consistently, really changed everything for me. And I like the fact that Starlink is that good. So you might say, well, what does Starlink have to do with anything with AMD? Well, Starlink is powered by AMD. So AMD is going to be is already providing the microchips for Starlink. So if we go ahead and search AMD Starlink on here, you can see the AMD Versal AI core adaptive chips are being used in the latest generation of SpaceX's Starlink satellites. These chips are designed to enhance processing speed and data acceleration, which are crucial for Starlink's satellite network. Why is that good? Well, if you think about the growth of the Starlink constellation, the reality is if they have the confidence to put in AMD tech in those Starlink satellites, that means AMD is most likely seen as the type of chip that will sustain and be very effective years and years into the future. Oh, take a look at that, guys. Some of the top videos that are here on Google are from our channel. If you guys ever want to stay up to date with Starlink or AI companies or quantum computing companies or space companies, make sure to subscribe. I really appreciate you all. Thank you guys for almost 20,000 subscribers. We're growing so fast. And you can see that we're really showing up right there on the first page of Google. So that's really exciting. And I appreciate you all. So again, AMD, I think that Starlink partnership is very underrated. Even since announcing that partnership, they haven't seen a surge. However, that partnership was announced back here right before November, and they've still sold off. And I think that's going to be a huge catalyst for AMD in the future, as T-Mobile, for example, saw huge upside after partnering with Starlink. And Starlink's a private company, so I'd see it as an advantage to be the main chip supplier for that company. Now, the other part of AMD stock is the financials. When you take a look at the AMD financials, one of the realities is that their revenue has been increasing tremendously. If you look quarter over quarter, you got 5.5 billion, 5.8 billion, 6.8, and then 7.6 billion. So revenues increasing. The net profit margins have gone down a little bit, and it's possible that they will go down even a little bit more, and that could be because of the tariffs. But when you look at the EPS, you look at the revenue, see them beating consistently. The reality is every single big tech company, whether it was Apple, whether it was Tesla, whether it was Amazon or Microsoft, almost all of the big tech companies really had this emphasis on wanting to invest more into their partnerships and into buying chips from the semiconductor partners, and AMD is one of the big semiconductor partners for a lot of big tech. And AMD includes this new initiative where they are investing a tremendous amount of money and shifting their business model very aggressively towards data centers. So data centers are going to be the main thing that goes into the growth of AI, and their GPUs are going to be the main, one of the main companies that are powering AI. Now, this is one of the smaller companies that I believe is very much on sale compared to Nvidia, and so that's why we have them here at number 3. So number 2, it's got to be Taiwan Semiconductor. So today we're actually trading the semiconductor market, and we saw the semiconductor market surge about 10% today. You see, we have a position open of about plus 5%. So, some really good trades in the markets. But what I will tell you is that when you're looking at Taiwan Semiconductor, they just reported earnings today. And wow, that's interesting. We have this drawing here that I said, hey, looks like they're going to bounce here. And looks like since then they've kind of bounced, not the full 21%, but about 13%. So why is Taiwan Semiconductor number 2? Well, they are one of the main chip providers for Nvidia, for the tech that goes into Apple and Google, and they have really tight, close proximity to most of big tech. And they help build the tech by providing semiconductors. And they recently moved a tremendous amount of their operations into Arizona. Now, in their recent earnings, they beat their earnings. It was looking really good, but at the same time, they weren't able to have too much of a positive sentiment around their profit margins. They said that their US factory is about 50% more expensive for them to run than their Taiwan factory. And of course, that's happening, but they're still investing billions of dollars in most companies, including Nvidia and Apple. They are investing billions of dollars, actually in the hundreds of billions of dollars, into building manufacturing in the US. For yes, it is more expensive right now, but it could be a really, really great way to centralize and distribute their chips to the US market in a way that, if they're doing it efficiently, would really put them into a great place, and also incentivize the US government to give them different breaks around policy that might affect their business. So when it comes to, yes, it's almost like a bribe, right? Build your factories in the US and we'll make your life easier. And that's kind of what's happening. So Taiwan Semiconductor has really put a lot of money into it, into the US. And you can see these sell-offs. So the reason I'm pointing these out is, let's just go back for a second to AMD. If you go back for a second, like AMD, if we see recoveries up into these levels, we're talking about 100% increases. If we're looking at Taiwan Semiconductor, and we're potentially looking for a rally to get up to here, it's about a 45% increase. So some pretty big upside for the company. And with their numbers continuing to grow, with the investments in them continuing to increase from the big tech, it would make a lot of sense that we would see Taiwan Semiconductor really start to push some of the AI market. So that's why we have it as number 2. Most of AI runs on data centers and semiconductors, and Taiwan Semiconductor is one of the main companies that is in the conversation. So they're right there behind Tesla. I think they're just above Tesla in the market cap. If we go to market caps of companies and you check out companies by market cap, yeah, looks like Taiwan Semiconductor is just above Tesla in the rankings. Also looks like Apple recently just passed Nvidia there, back up to number 1, which is interesting. So we have Taiwan Semiconductor there. And the next company that we're going to talk about here is Broadcom. Yep, number 1 that I'm watching right now in this space is Broadcom. I would say that this is maybe not fully AI only, or I would throw in some companies like Probably, we definitely would throw in Nvidia, as everybody sees it as a top play, and I think long term they're a great play. Um, you'd probably throw in Big Bear AI. You'd probably throw in Palantir. You'd probably throw in some of the bigger, companies that are, or smaller companies as well, that are starting to see a lot of traction. But I wanted to cover specifically some of the semiconductor companies. Broadcom, just take a quick little look. If you take a look at um, Broadcom connecting everything is their what they say, and you can see enabling AI infrastructure. So really working towards not just, I would say, the software, but really the solutions for the data centers and the chips that make up most of and power most of the AI industry. And so as we look at Broadcom, it's recently pulled back tremendously with the rest of the market. And if we do see, you could see this overall trend happening where it's right around this 200-day moving average. See that level definitely sold down quite a bit there. And you start to see this uptrend take place. And so with Broadcom, it would make sense to me to see this type of move happen. Now, could we see the market really get hit by tariffs more? We see more sell-offs. That's always a question of things that could happen. But when it comes down to the, 6-month play, or even the 1 year, or even looking at these huge sell-offs and the opportunities that they present in these companies, the upside there is about a 40% increase just to this high, and not, assuming that the company's not going to continue to make higher and higher highs like it historically has. So keeping Broadcom right there at the top of my list is right there. We're investing in Broadcom, we're investing in AMD as well. I'm very bullish on all three of these for the reasons that we went through with the data centers, and I look forward to seeing how they continue to move. So while we do look at them in swing trades, in these potential swings that can continue in their overall direction, and we like to see some of the direction of the companies when we're investing in them, we're also trading them on a shorter term basis. So if you ever want to watch us trade these on a short term basis, whether that's just a few hours in the morning or maybe later in the week when things start to cool down a little bit and we start to see a end of the week rally, that's been happening quite often, and we do it every morning at market open. If you ever want to be there at market open and watch me trade live, it's that second link in the description. There's Stockmate. We got other investors there. There is the books that we have available there, and also about 7+ hours of fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and the full breakdown of the different targets we have for the week, watch lists for different companies in AI, space tech, quantum, and definitely the big AI companies that include your main players like, again, Tesla, Nvidia, in this case Broadcom, Taiwan, Apple, and Microsoft, and what have you. So if you ever want to learn how to invest in those types of companies, then I would encourage you to simply take a look. That second link below, we got a huge sale there. It's not getting better than this. I'll see you guys there at market open if you decide to join. With that being said, we got over 950 videos on YouTube. So if you guys ever have any questions or things you'd like to find, there's a lot of answers here on YouTube. So I'd also tell you guys, check out some of the videos. Hit that like button if I earned it. Thanks so much for watching. Do consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next video.